Hi everyone, today we are continuing factoring and we are factoring with trinomials where a equals 1. So if you recall, the standard form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so we are going to now factor or break down these trinomials into binomials, but here we're always going to have a 1 in front of today's quadratics. So here are our steps. We're going to create factor tables for C. We're going to find two factors that add up to the middle, and then we're going to write them in our final answer form. So our example today is x squared plus 8x plus 12. We want to factor that, break it down to two binomials. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am looking at this back end, okay, the C, and it's 12, so I need to find factors of 12. Okay, so factors of 12, 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. And now they have to add to 8. Okay, so I'm trying now to find factors that add up to 8. And if I look right here, a positive 2 and a positive 6 that I've listed in my factor table add up to 8. So this 2 and this 6 become part of the binomial, and you can see that I took and I wrote them down here in my factored form, the plus 2, x plus 2, and the plus 6, x plus 6. Okay, and this would be my final answer. So if you remember before, to double check work, if I multiply these two binomials together, I end up with the standard form up here. Okay, so if I multiplied these together, I would end up with my original x squared plus 8x plus 12. All right, so let's look at some more examples. Okay, so example 2, we have x squared plus 7x minus 8. Okay, so once again, I'm looking at the minus 8. I need to find factors of negative 8. Now this time, because it's negative, I'm going to have positives and negatives in my factor table. So when I think about it, negative 1 times 8 is negative 8. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. But positive 1 times negative 8 is also negative 8, and positive 2 times negative 4 is also negative 8. So here we have more items in our factor tree because we're dealing with the negative number. Okay, so now they have to add up to, let me use different color here, they have to add up to 7. And if I look, negative 1 and positive 8 right here, this grouping, negative 1 and positive 8, when I add them together, gives me positive 7. So those are the factors that I use down here in my factored form, x minus 1 and x plus 8. Okay, so example 3, same thing, x squared minus 11x plus 10. So I need factors of positive 10 here. Right, factors of positive 10, 1 times 10 and 2 times 5, but we have to remember that negative times negative is also a positive number. So we also will have negative 1 times negative 10 and negative 2 times negative 5. So here again, they must add up to negative 11. And if I put this grouping together and I just add them, negative 1 minus 10 does give me negative 11. So therefore, x minus 1 and x minus 10. Okay, so example 4 here, one more time. We need factors of negative 15, -1 times 15 and -3 times 5, but also 1 times -15, so you're switching the signs, and 3 times the -5. They must add to -2x. So which of these situations gives me -2? Okay, and it's right here, +3 and -5. We can just ignore this. We don't know what that is. Okay, and so here we write them into our final answer. Okay, so that is how you factor with the leading coefficient, or a, equals 1.